Hi, my name is Patricia, and in each short video, I break down one business analysis technique at a time in under 5 minutes. Let's get into it. Sometimes a project feels massive, right? Every requirement connects to 5 more and then 10 more after that. And the team keeps asking, where do we even start? Functional decomposition is basically your way of saying, let's break this thing down into parts we can actually work with. Today, we're exploring functional decomposition. This technique helps you simplify delivery, clarify scope, and make requirements far easier to understand. Here's a fresh perspective on structuring work. Why does functional decomposition matter in the first place? It matters because it turns something big into something clear. Let's walk through the key points. It helps teams understand the scope clearly. Everyone sees the full picture and how each part connects. Instead of debating what's in or out, the decomposition shows it visually. It makes planning and estimation easier. When work is broken down sensibly, delivery teams can estimate with confidence. You're no longer guessing based on one giant blob of work. It improves communication with stakeholders. People respond better to structured visuals. Breaking a process into components reduces ambiguity and opens the door to better conversations. So why does this technique actually work? It works because it gives structure to complexity. It organizes processes logically. Breaking work into layers makes it easier to see dependencies and relationships. You can spot where decisions, rules, and data come into play. It turns abstract ideas into concrete components. People often talk about work in broad strokes. Decomposition forces us to define what's really happening. It reveals gaps and overlaps. Sometimes two teams think they're doing the same step, or worse, nobody is doing it. Decomposition puts all of that on the table early. When is functional decomposition actually the right technique? Let's break these down. When the scope feels too large, if your team can't articulate the full process, decomposition gives everyone a starting point. When you need clarity before capturing detailed requirements, it helps you organize requirements logically and avoid missing key functions. When multiple teams are involved, it becomes much easier to show who owns which part of the process. No confusion, no overlap. How do you actually use functional decomposition in real work? Here's the step-by-step approach. Identify the high-level function. Start with the overall service or process you're trying to understand, the single thing everyone recognizes. Break it into major subfunctions. Split the high-level function into the big chunks of work, logical groups that together deliver the whole. Decompose to useful detail. Keep splitting until each component is meaningful for requirements, ownership, or delivery, not too deep, not too shallow. Stop when work is actionable. If a component can be estimated, assigned, or tested, you're at the right level. Validate with the team. Share the decomposition, confirm ownership, and fix gaps or overlaps early. This method turns a giant, fuzzy scope into clear, manageable parts you can plan, estimate, and deliver. Here's a real example so you can see how this plays out. High-level function: deliver a service. Subfunctions: lodge request, capturing the initial details from the customer. Assess request, reviewing information and validating eligibility or requirements. Approve or decline, making a decision based on the assessment. Provide the service or payment, executing the final action. Notify the customer, closing the loop so they know the outcome. This creates a clean, structured view of service delivery, and each subfunction can be broken down further if needed. Here are a few things that make decomposition much stronger. Keep naming consistent. Use verb-noun labels like assess request. It keeps everything clear and easy to read. Don't break it down too far. If you go too deep, the diagram becomes overwhelming. Stop where the detail is meaningful and actionable. Validate with stakeholders. Walk them through the diagram. They'll confirm the flow or correct it. Functional decomposition brings clarity, structure, and alignment, making every part of a project easier. If you want a technique that simplifies complexity and helps everyone understand the work, this is one you'll want in your toolkit. In the next video, we'll explore business capability analysis and how it shapes strategic conversations. See you then.